Hello everyone, and welcome back to IxSHE Tell, Yui's route. In the last episode, we had our confession, and it was a really sweet one on top of that tower with the ocean view. Very nice. And now we're doing an interview with the paper. I guess this is kind of going to be like Yamabuki's route, where we do a big announcement. Not much point in hiding it. Have you finished drafting the article?
はい、こんな感じで出そうと思うんですけど、NG なところがないかチェックお願いします。
It's all terrible. Start from scratch. Sure thing. Once lunch break rolled around, I invited Yuki-senpai and the others to come to the student council room, along with several members of the photography club in preparation for our meeting. Oh yeah, because we should probably tell them first. Given that I was going to announce who I'd chosen, I wanted the other girls to be here as well. Looks good to me. No major problems. One thing though, while I know it's kind of late to bring this up, do you really think it's worth publishing an entire extra dedicated to who I'm going out with?
うちもそれは思うんですけど、部長がちゃんと活動してるところ見せて、部費アップのチャンスって言ってたんで。
You know what? Fair. That club president's a sly one. You're not supposed to tell me that though, are you?
やらかした！
You know what? I appreciate your honesty. More funding for you. The photography club sure seems like a nice place. Yui and Koshimizu must be having fun there.
とにかく、それに変に噂が広がって、事実に尾ひれがついたら厄介ですし。
Ooh, nice save.
そう考えると、号外も悪くないんじゃないかなって思いますよ。
And if we happen to get extra funding from it, great.
一気に拡散される分、変な情報をシャットアウトできるし、確かに悪くはないと思うけど。
You're taking this surprisingly well.
これじゃ有名人と同じような感じね。
A little bit.
パーフェクトに可愛い私と同じで、二宮くんもここじゃ有名人だし、あながち間違ってはいないけどね。
I'm so glad we didn't do a counter for that. Hilarious as it is. Perhaps Kozuka had the right idea about acting confident and proud. Alright, I think it's time to call this meeting to order. Firstly, there's something I'd like to announce to all of you gathered here today. Oh, we haven't told them yet. I hate to do this, but I have to. The night of the Halloween party, I asked Kozuka to meet with me.
ご質問はまた後ほど、きちんとお受けいたしますわ。
Everyone's eyes turn piercingly toward Kozuka the moment I say her name. Kozuka, however, pays them no mind and continues to stare straight at me, awaiting my next words. That night, I confessed my feelings to her and chose to go out with her. To all of the rest of you whose confessions I've been putting on hold, I'm sorry, but I love Kozuka. The more I try to avoid eye contact, the more I become aware of their stares boring into me. This is rather sudden, I know. I hope you can forgive me for being unable to respond to each of your confessions individually. But just as you have all been honest with me about your feelings, I want to be honest with you about mine. It took me quite some time to reach this decision, but I was finally able to come up with an answer that I was satisfied with. I've thought about this long and hard, and the one person who I can say I love with unwavering conviction is Kozuka in this timeline. It hurts me to think that I can only explain it through this way. All of these girls are still important to me in their own ways. But even though they may be a little upset by the way I went about things, this is the best response I can give them right now.
ま、二宮くんの趣味とかいろいろあるだろうし、仕方ないわね。
You were first.
負けちゃったのは悔しいけど。ですが、二宮さんが幸せになるなら、私はお二人を応援しますよ。
Don't worry, you'll get your chance.
小清水先輩。
Now that I think about it, Kozuka had been the next one to confess to me after Koshimizu. Oh yeah, that's right, I'd forgotten about that. The two of them must share some special connection that can't be put into words.
二宮くん、気をつけてね。相手は名家のお嬢様よ。
That sounds concerning.
何かあれば、わかってるわね。
Is that a threat? Stop scaring me like that, Yamabuki.
はじめ、振られた身として質問いい？
The other girls turned towards Shiori in unison, looks of surprise on their faces. Sure, but you didn't have to say it like that. Shiori seems to be taking the news better than I expected, but this question must be pretty important to her. What did you want to ask?
2番目の女を狙うのは問題ない？
Harem route? I appreciate the offer, Shiori, but that's gonna be a no from me. It'd probably end up causing a whole host of problems, not only for me, but for you too.
なら私からも。
No, I'm not accepting a third either.
二宮くんと小塚さんは健全なお付き合いをするのよね。
As long as Kozuka's in agreement, I intend to set a model example for the students with our relationship.
私は問題ありませんわ。二宮先輩は注目の的ですし、そうなるだろうというのは予測済みです。
That's pretty rich coming from Yamabuki considering all of the debauchery she was threatening.
ちょっとこの場にいるのはふさわしくないというか、いたたまれないというか。
Is it because all eyes aren't on you? I guess the latter half of my announcement had taken a rather personal turn. Sorry, I didn't realize. We're good, so you can leave now if you want. Okay, bye. You don't even have names. Oh, this is uncomfortable. Wait, I changed my mind. Come back. With a slight bow, the photography club members leave the room, leaving me alone with Yuki-senpai, Shiori, Koshimizu, Yamabuki, and Kozuka. So, how to break this ice? Who brought cards?
写真部からのリークでみんなに重大発表だ。我らが二宮会長と三崎浜の小塚会長がカップルになったぞ。
Oh, okay, well, this isn't that different from Yamabuki's route after all. What the hell? Talk about fast. A resounding cheer echoes throughout the school buildings from distant classrooms. No, from the entire campus. I thought the photography club only wanted to publish that article, but it looks like they've even gone to the broadcasting club as well. The broadcasting club could have waited a little bit, but that's what happens.
ダブル会長カップルの誕生だ。みんなで盛大にお祝い。先生、ちょっと待って。これはみんなとじゃないよ。だが前劇場。
R.I.P.
ねえお前ら誰と誰が付き合おうがそっとしといてやれ。人の恋路を邪魔すると馬に蹴られるぞ。
Isn't that the same teacher that was lecturing us in the last route? I think so. Pretty sure. Wow. It got real quiet real quick. The broadcast ends as soon as the teacher finishes giving his spiel. Not a second later, the whole campus falls completely silent, as if all the commotion from earlier was just a dream. I guess they must have gone a little overboard this time. Just a little, yeah.
先生に釘を刺されては何も言いようがありませんわね。
Yeah.
それより私たちもお昼食べない？みんなまだ食べてないでしょ？
We're just going to all pretend that that didn't happen. Unable to bear the awkwardness any longer, Yuki-senpai brings up the subject of lunch. Speaking of which, I haven't eaten anything yet either.
賛成です。せっかくですし、みんなで食べに行きませんか？小塚さん、今日のお昼くらい、私たちも混ざっていいですか？ええ、問題ありませんわ。むしろ私も皆さんともっと仲良くなりたいですし。
Okay, maybe the side routes weren't such a far-fetched conclusion.
はじめ。
No. In the meantime, Shiori settled her way over beside me. That stuff she said earlier about having a second girlfriend makes me a little wary, though.
お祝いに、今日は私がデザートをおごってあげる。
If only she knew how close she was to being the route that we actually picked. You sure?
じゃあ、私はゆいぽんにおごってあげる。そんなお気を使わずとも。 お祝いですから盛大にやりましょう。
I was afraid of things taking an awkward turn, but it's a relief to see that I was worried for nothing. I was honestly afraid I might have soured Kozuka's friendships with the others, but there doesn't seem to be any of that.
ちなみに二宮くん、さっき健全なって言ってたけど、あれ嘘でしょ。
I did not say anything about that. I said I would have a model relationship. But of course, as a young man going through puberty, I naturally have a strong libido.
ゆいぽん気をつけてね。痛いことされたらお姉さんが怒ってあげるから。
Literally?
お気遣いなく、私も健全なお付き合いなんてできるとは思っておりませんので。
That's very forward.
ゆいぽん、恋人同士が二人きりで密室にいたら、健全でなんていられませんわ。
Well, Kozuka? What is this girl saying?
女の子の方からそんなこと言うなんて。
I mean, you said some pretty interesting things yourself.
さあ、早く学食に参りましょう。注目されるのは当然ですし、質問攻めにあった場合、食べる時間もなくなってしまいますわよ。
The other girls hasten to obey as they file out of the student council room. Swallowing my excitement, I follow behind them towards the cafeteria. Well, that escalated quickly. Homeroom just ended, and classes are now done for the day. As soon as the bell rang, Yamabuki came over to my seat.
会長、今日はもう生徒会室立ち入り禁止ね。
Why? What did I do? What? Why?
先生から注意があったとはいえ、みんな興味を隠しきれてないようだから、今日は早く帰った方がいいわ。
That's probably smart.
その方が私たちも仕事に集中できるし、会長は小塚さんと一緒に帰れる。ウィンウィンの関係じゃない。
Okay. I get the feeling she just wants me out of her hair. Alright, fine. I'll go home. Aoba? It's not often that she messages me at school.
愛しの彼女が寂しがってるから、早く顔を見せてあげて。
Seriously? I guess I'd better do as she says, and quick, before Kozuka becomes the target of everyone's teasing. I message Aoba back, telling her to meet me in front of the school gates and promptly leave the classroom. Aoba!
おう、彼氏が来たよ。
When I arrive at the gates, I find Aoba with a smug grin on her face, and Kozuka looking rather exasperated. I guess she's been teasing her the whole time. Judging from that expression, Aoba's already been giving her all sorts of grief.
二宮先輩、青葉ったら昼休み終わってからずっとおかしな顔で見てくるので、なんとかしてください。
Are you sure that's just not her normal face?
失礼な。私がおかしな顔だったら、お兄はおかしな顔のお兄だよ。
Well, I never thought my own sister would join in on the teasing.
だってお兄がユイと付き合うなんてびっくりだし。
That's okay, neither did most of the people watching this video.
嬉しい反面、ユイのこと取られたってショック受けてるんだよ。
You sure don't look shocked.
そう割とショックだよ。
I don't know that I would describe that as shocked. Okay, I get it. You can stop. I just had to ask, didn't I?
とりあえず二人で帰るんでしょ。
That's what I was thinking. Yamabuki told me not to show up at student council today anyways.
こっちも山吹先輩から連絡来て、二人きりにしてあげなさいって言われたから。ユイをよろしくね。
I was going to follow you around and tease you, but Yamabuki scares me.
そういうことらしいので、よろしくお願いいたします。
Right. I'm grateful to Yamabuki for being so considerate, but this almost feels like a bit much. Even though Aoba is with us, I can feel countless stares and hear them all whispering too. Then again, I can probably blame that on Aoba's weird screaming from a second ago. Still, it does seem like a good idea to head home soon.
じゃあお兄あとよろしくね。私は向こう戻るから。
Alright. Things go silent at once after Aoba departs. Alright. It's finally just the two of us. The moment we're alone, the nerves hit me, and the conversation comes to a halt. Kosuka seems to be fairly nervous as well, which means it's up to me to take charge. Come on, Kosuka. I'll walk you home.
よろしいんですか？
Sure. No need to be modest. I want to spend as much time with you as I can.
今の青葉が聞いたらどういった反応をするんでしょうね。
She actually slipped a bug underneath your collar. Earlier on, you just didn't notice because you were distracted by her face. She probably wouldn't be very amused, especially not if she heard us talking about her like this. She's just seething in the distance. After leaving the campus, we make our way into town, strolling along the coastal road. Simply walking together with her like this is enough to get my heart racing out of control.
写真部だけでなく放送部まで出てきて大変でしたわね。
I'm sure the photography club was just trying to liven things up for us. Still, I suppose they did go a little overboard.
むしろあれくらいやったからでしょうか。皆さん遠慮して声をかけてきませんし。
That is a plus. Also, it probably had something to do with what that social studies teacher said.
おかげでもう付き合ってるのは周知の事実ですし。で、手を握ってもよろしくて。
Yeah, of course. I timidly reach out to grab her hand, and she gently squeezes mine back. Unable to stay calm, my pulse suddenly quickens significantly. Do you, have some kind of special skincare routine, Kozuka? Your hands are super soft. A little bit awkward, but okay.
特に何もしていませんわ。二宮先輩こそ。で、大きいんですね。
Are they? I think they're pretty average sized.
大きいですよ。ほら、関節一つ分も違います。
I mean, you are petite. She places her palm flat against mine, comparing our sizes. The sensation of her skin against mine causes my heart to skip another beat. Kozuka's face has reddened slightly as well. Unlike this morning, it's now much easier to sense her embarrassment.
先輩。これから二人きりの時は、はじめさんと呼んでも。
You can call me whatever you want. Hajime-san? I don't mind her using my first name, but it's somewhat strange that she'd want to continue attaching an honorific to it. Sure. In that case, I'll call you Yui.
はい、お願いします。ただ、私から言っておいてなんですが、今日いきなり呼ばれると、照れて何も言えなくなりそうなので。
I don't know, this reaction seems pretty on point. Yui. I'm just messing with you. Sorry, it just sort of slipped out. She blushes, glaring reproachfully at me. I hadn't been meaning to tease her, but it looks like she's actually feeling more embarrassed than I thought.
先輩はいじめっ子ですわ。絶対そうに違いありません。
Aw, she already backpedaled.
私が照れてるところをご覧になってどうするおつもりですの？
It's because I dream of becoming a makeup artist. I wouldn't say I enjoy it. I just wanted to see it a little.
はじめさんだって今朝すごく照れていたではありませんか。
Well, you got me there. Please don't bring that up again.
これでおあいこですわね。
Well played, salesman. She giggles shyly, eliciting a chuckle out of me as well. It's amazing how happy I feel simply from holding hands with her and talking like this. It finally sinks in that she's my girlfriend now. Yeah, I suppose that would take a bit. Looks like we're here. Is this where you live?
あっという間でしたわね。
That's a nice fountain. We'd been having so much fun together that the time seemed to pass in the blink of an eye. Before I'd even noticed, the two of us had walked all the way to Yui's house. Speaking of, this is the first time I've ever been here. Is this mansion not, like, a little big? Well, it is a mansion. Once again, I'm forced to realize the wealth and prestige that she comes from.
はじめさん、
Interrupting that particular train of thought, she gives my hand a tight squeeze. Although it's time for us to part ways, I want to keep holding on to her too. As that thought crosses my mind, I find myself unable to let go of her hand. So, whenever we go home together from now on, do you think I could walk you home like I did today?
もちろんですわ。
Nice.
私も少しでも一緒にいたいですし。
Ah, that's a relief. With this, I'll have an excuse to spend a bit more time with her every day. Since we go to different schools, we won't have as many chances to see each other as we'd like, so the more opportunities like this, the better. I'll try to contact you whenever I know what time I'll be finished with my student council stuff. On days that our schedules match up, we should walk home together.
はい。
Great. I'll see you tomorrow then. I'll message you when I get back.
明日もまた寮までお迎えに参ってもよろしいでしょうか。
Sure. You're more than welcome to. But it's quite a detour, isn't it?
大変だろうが、私がしたいと思っていることなので問題ではありません。
And she would walk 500 miles. Well, then I guess that's okay. I'll probably leave the dorm around the same time as I did today.
はい。
Alright, see you tomorrow.
はじめさん、 その夜とかってできる時で構わないのですが、電話したいなと思いまして。
I will make time.
ご迷惑ですか？
Oh, no, of course not. I'd love to hear your voice from time to time too, so I'll try to call you when I can. I'll shoot you a message whenever I'm free to talk.
私もそういたしますわ。それじゃあ、帰りの道中お気をつけて。
I will. See you tomorrow. Yui waves to me again and again until she reaches her doorstep and heads inside. The way she smiles is adorable, as is the way she waves her arm. I'm truly glad I walked her home today. After watching her disappear indoors, I turn and make my own way home, thinking about her all the way. And then I'm just gonna stare at the wall until it's tomorrow. Aw, cute. Like the little chibi figure, look at that. Yay, tomorrow!
ねえねえ、ほら、会長と一緒にいる子。
If it's his girlfriend, that shouldn't be surprising.
ああ、小塚さん。
まさか彩香が振られるなんてね。
I already told you she had the first route.
そりゃあ私もびっくりしたけどさ、なんか二人並んでても様になってるっていうか、年下って感じしないよね。
わかる。なんか大人っぽいし。むしろ彩香の敗因はそこだったんじゃ。
お、ダブル会長だ。今日も一緒に投稿してきたらしいじゃん。
羨ましいな。俺も彼女作って一緒にイチャイチャしてよ。
We don't get to flirt all day long. We go to different schools. Kozuka and I continue eating as we listen to the whispers around us. Feels like everyone's watching us again, as usual.
もうしばらくはこのような感じが続くかもしれませんわね。
It's been about 3 days since that article in the school paper was published, but public interest in us hasn't waned in the slightest. It's a bit of a pain being unable to eat my lunch in peace, but it's a small price to pay for such a cute girlfriend.
先ほど先輩方がおっしゃっていましたが、なんでか私がすごい人だとか、早速尾ひれがつき始めてるような気がしますわ。
You said that like it's a bad thing.
特別な魅力なんてないと思いますけど、先輩はどう思いですか？
Well, I'm your boyfriend, so I think you already know the answer to that. Looks like she simply wanted me to chat her up a bit. Even though we've just started dating, we haven't been able to flirt very much due to all the attention we've been getting. Kozuka's frustration must be piling up as well. I never would have fallen in love with you if I didn't think you were charming. If you're asking me whether or not you're attractive, my answer would have to be a resounding yes. If nothing else, you're miles more mature than my idiot of a sister Aoba. You're very composed for your age, and I think that's a large part of your appeal. I feel like the qualifier wasn't great.
それから？
Let's see. It goes without saying that you're as sharp as a whip, and you've got exceptional leadership qualities as well. Aoba tells me you do a great job of covering for your fellow student council members too, so that's yet another part of your charm. Somebody's got a praise kink. Kozuka?
先輩？あまりこういった場で褒め殺しは感心しませんわよ。
But you wanted it. I take it to mean that she's satisfied. Oh, that's funny. It's like, no, keep giving them to me. Okay, that's too much. Contrary to her words, her face had broken into a very visible smile. I hadn't meant to flatter her so lavishly, but everything I'd said about her was true as well. Sorry. I'll stop now. I mean, I could keep going if you want. I'm kidding. I'll be sure to keep an eye out for everything I find cute about you from now on, so cheer up. I can't read you. She spins away from me, then rubs her cheeks with her palms. Apparently, the giddy expression on her face wasn't the one she meant to show me.
ねえ先輩、この後のご予定さえなければ中庭までご一緒しませんか？
Are you plotting some kind of payback?
そんなことしません。少しお話ができればと思っただけです。もう。
I don't know that there's anywhere we can do that on school grounds. I'm not sure this is how normal couples conversations usually go, but Kozuka seems to be enjoying our exchange nonetheless. Well, alright then. Let's hurry up and finish eating so we have some more time to spend together.
そうおっしゃっていただけるのは嬉しいのですが、
I'm a slow eater.
しっかり噛んで食べないと喉に詰まらせたりしますし、太りますわよ。
I don't think that's true.
今でも一緒にいることには違いありませんし、先輩だけ早く食べ終わっても、私が食べ終わるまで待っていただかないといけませんし。
I'm used to it because I usually inhale my food and I'm just kind of sitting there like, well, I'm gonna wait now. That's true. I guess the thought of spending time with you just got me a little carried away, Yui. Oh, I did it in public. My bad.
先輩、その呼び方は二人きりの時だけと。
I assumed we were in our own little world.
それに、まだその呼ばれ方には慣れていませんので、不意打ちはちょっと。
She looks down at her chopsticks, avoiding my gaze. I'll never get tired of seeing every one of her adorable reactions. But now, I'm starting to feel a bit embarrassed myself.
はじめさんって呼ぶのも慣れていませんし、早く慣れないと。
It'll happen by the first H scene, so probably next episode? There's no rush. Just use my name when you're ready. Kozuka, are you okay? I hurriedly reached into my pocket for my handkerchief, and after passing it to her, she uses it to wipe her mouth.
お構いなく。
Are you sure? Apparently, she'd been about to take a sip of her soup when it went down the wrong pipe. Wait, she's eating soup with chopsticks? Although thankfully none of it had gotten onto her uniform, Kozuka glares at me as she covers her mouth with my handkerchief.
今のは聞こえていてもスルーするところでは。
Sorry? Sorry. Bad timing on my part. I'd better just stay silent while we eat. I don't want her choking every time I open my mouth to say something, or we'll start getting more stares. Instead, I focus on finishing my lunch first, taking small, careful bites as not to worry Yui. Just tiny little bites, like Squidward taking a bite out of the Krabby Patty. Just the teeth. Once we'd safely finished our meal, Yui and I made our way towards the school courtyard. Around us, the lawn was bustling with students exercising after their lunch, some playing badminton, others doing ballet. Compared to the cafeteria, we attract a lot less attention out here. However, I can still feel a few people turning to look our way. Seems like we're going to have a hard time doing anything couple-like at school, huh?
そうですね。周りから見られながらというのはさすがに恥ずかしいですし。
My theory from the cafeteria stands.
何より二人きりの時くらい先輩だけを見ていたいですから。
Yeah. She hits me with these surprise attacks from time to time without even batting an eye. I can't let my guard down around her. There probably aren't many places we can be alone at, though. How about that spot over there? Looks pretty empty.
ええ、先輩とご一緒でしたらどちらでも。
You kidding? It all looks empty to me. We walk over to the empty seats by the terrace, giving the area a quick scan. This corner of the yard is usually crowded with students, both couples and not quite couples. Today, however, we seem to be the only ones around. But since everyone knows about this spot, I doubt we'll be getting much attention even if there were others here. It's a lot more relaxing than the cafeteria, that's for sure.
やっと息抜きができますわね。
Seriously. Still, we gotta find someplace where we won't be disturbed, otherwise we're not gonna get a moment's peace. Either that, or hope that everyone loses interest in us soon.
ですが、私たちが付き合ったことで早速影響があったみたいですわ。
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about it because we never see Misaki-hama. It has?
クラスの女の子が告白されたとか、告白したいけれどどうしたらいいのかなどとアドバイスを求められましたし。
It's the domino effect.
先輩の周りではそういった変化はありませんか？
Not that I've noticed. Maybe I just haven't been paying attention, though. There was that one guy I overheard talking about how he'd been rejected that day Yui came to walk with me to school, but surely there must be other students who have had a bit more success. On a different note, do you think you'll be staying long after school today?
あら、放課後のお誘いでしたら喜んで受けさせていただきますわ。
Hold on, I didn't say that yet.
あら、お誘いではなくて？
No, but I was building up to it. No, you were not. It's a strange feeling being led around by a girl younger than me, but not altogether unpleasant. In fact, I find myself growing more and more attracted to her incongruous maturity.
今日はそこまで大きな仕事もありませんし、遅くても5時には帰れると思います。
Great. Then I'll walk you home again today. I should be done around the same time. I'll come over there to get you, so you don't have to come here.
いえいえ、私がお迎えに参りますわ。
Are you sure? I know it's a bit nerve-wracking coming here with all these older students around. It'd take longer to get home this way, too. Plus, it should be the gentleman's job to escort the lady home, I say as I scan up your torso. I give Yui a theatrical bow and offer her my hand.
そういうことでしたら。わかりました。先輩に恥をかかせるわけにはいきませんものね。
But if she comes here, it takes longer to walk back home and you get to spend more time together. She graciously accepts my hand, giving me an elegant smile in return. I might be laying it on a bit thick, to be honest, but this sort of straightforward approach seems to work best when it comes to Yui. Since I'm to be your escort, though, I think it'd be a bit boring just to head straight home.
よろしいんですか？
About what?
ただでさえ先輩は町までいらっしゃる必要もありませんのに。それに勉強の予習や宿題も。
Don't worry. I always do my studying in the evenings anyway. Besides, I'd go anywhere if it meant I could come see you, even if you asked me to come to your room. A little early.
そうですわね。失礼いたしました。
And you see, in my house, I actually have several rooms. In fact, if you're up for it, Why don't I go pay a visit to your room today?
今日ですか？
Wow, I thought for sure she'd say no right away.
そうですわね。今日はお手伝いさんも来ませんし。
Still holding my hand, she pulls me in close and whispers into my ear. Huh?
ベッドまできちんとエスコートしてくださるのなら構いませんわよ。
Whoa, okay, never mind what I said about the next episode. What? What did she just say?
先輩の顔ったら。
Well played. Apparently finding something extremely funny, she bursts into laughter, having to hold her stomach with both hands. Huh? What just happened?
先ほどの学食での仕返しです。
That's hardly fair. What? Hey, you said you weren't going to.
そんなの仕返しをすると宣言して仕返しをするのは愚の骨頂ですもの。
You realize this means war. I totally fell for it. Looks like we're pretty well suited for one another, huh?
そうおっしゃっていただけるなんて大変光栄ですわ。
I'm a little peeved that she managed to pull one over on me. But I'm not childish enough to keep the cycle of payback going. Aw. Well, if we're doing this, we'd better get some condoms ready.
先輩
So much for not keeping the cycle going? We can stop by a convenience store on the way home and buy some.
冗談ですわよね。
I'm serious about you, Yui. Can't you see that?
申し訳ありませんでした。もうからかったりしませんので、どうか心の準備を。
From anyone else's perspective, we probably just seem like your average pair of lovebirds. But even so, these silly conversations make me happy. Wait, does that mean...
私だって先輩をはじめさんを思う気持ちは本気ですから、その
Oh my.
はい。
Oh shit. Does she mean she's actually okay with more? Just not today? I really didn't expect this at all. I don't even know what to say. Koshika. That's right, it was a stumble.
どうして先輩まで照れるんですか？ご自分でおっしゃったことではありませんか？
I know, but I didn't expect this response. I know, but I never expected you to be so receptive to it.
それは
She lapses into an embarrassed silence, making things all the more awkward. It's not particularly uncomfortable, but still... I should change the subject for now. Speaking of which, do you like a good workout, Kosuka? Yeah, very subtle. A good workout. That's not the best subject change, but okay.
運動？それはいやらしいことを比喩的に？
Exercise, calisthenics, that kind of thing. No! I guess I took my own joke a little too far. Sorry, just forget everything I said earlier, okay?
はあ。
I'm sure it must be hard to get it off her mind, but it's clear we won't be able to hold a normal conversation at this rate.
運動でしたわね。
Yes, what kind of stamina do you have?
人並みにですが、苦手に感じたことはありません。
I wish I could say the same. I'm not fit at all.
そうなんですか？全然そうは見えませんけれど。
I was just born this way. I might be able to do something about it if I exercised more, but I'm just fundamentally not very athletic. He says as though he hadn't spent the past 2 routes running around like a maniac. If you had me play badminton right now, I'd probably end up covered from head to toe with racket marks.
どのような運動神経ですの？
No, I think he's just clumsy. I'd like to know the answer to that myself.
青葉からもそういった話は伺っていませんでしたが、二宮先輩ってインドア派でしたのね。
Except for when I'm smoking my meat.
私としてもどちらかと聞かれればインドアな趣味になりますので。
Well, that's great. I'd probably be fearing for my life right now if you said you were an outdoorsy type.
あら？ ですが燻製はアウトドアではありませんこと？
That's what I was thinking too. Technically, yes. Technically, I guess. I could have said nothing. Naturally, all you need is a fire, but it could be done in a kitchen if you really wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it.
ちなみに室内でやったらどうなりますの？
Carbon monoxide poisoning. Well, my room would probably end up a giant mess for one. I'd undoubtedly set off the fire alarm too, and my room would stink of smoke for weeks. I purposefully refrained from telling her some of the time I've tried cooking on the balcony, leading to a small fire scare in the dorm. She'd most likely shake her head at my stupidity.
確かに放置機は厄介ですわね。
You have no idea the number of angry students who came out wearing nothing but towels.
私も以前スプリンクラーを発動させてしまい、両親に怒られたことがありますのでわかります。
Your house has a sprinkler system? Jeez. How the heck did that happen? If you're interested, maybe you could come by and watch me cook next time. Well, then again, there's not much to actually watch. My smoker does most of the work.
ですが、匂いが強烈ですのよね。
Somewhat, but you'll like it once you get used to it. Personally, from what I hear, the smell is more like whiskey than anything else, but the smell can also vary a lot depending on what wood chips you use. Sounds like a pretty adult hobby, doesn't it?
へえ、チップにも種類がありますのね。
Yeah, you'll be able to tell which ones you like and which ones you don't pretty clearly once you actually try it. If you want my opinion, I get the feeling you'd probably like cherry blossom wood chips a lot, Yui. Oh, but the smell can seep into your clothes, so be careful. At worst, it might not even wash out. But as long as I'm with you, it shouldn't be a problem. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to ramble on like that. I get enthusiastic about my foods. Yui stares up at me, her mouth slightly agape. Seeing her expression, I realize I had gone off on a complete tangent. Happens to me all the time.
お気になさらず、どうぞそのまま続けてください。私も知らないことを知るのは勉強になりますし、何より先輩のお話は楽しいですから。
Are you sure? I could seriously go on for another hour. I'm not joking.
でしたら授業がありますので、続きはまた後ほど。
Even better. I can make it 3 hours in that case.
増えてますわよ。
This would be a perfect opportunity for my outdoor debut, and having a summer barbecue with my girlfriend doesn't sound half bad either.
先輩の燻製楽しみですわ。青葉からも先輩の作る燻製は美味しいと伺っていますし。
I am. I'm not just blowing smoke. Oh, that's great. I'll have to bring you a plate next time I whip up something good then.
ありがとうございます。楽しみにさせていただきますわ。それにしても。
Did I say something weird?
いえ、燻製の話をしている時の先輩、目が輝いていて可愛かったのでつい。
Yeah? It's kinda embarrassing to hear you say that.
目を輝かせるくらい楽しい趣味ということでしょうし、私も聞いていて興味が湧きますし、自信を持っていいと思いますわ。
What did I do? Well, that can't bode well. I've never seen Aoba, the very picture of energy, in such low spirits before.
デート中にごめん。ちょっとウニー化して。デートって別にこれはデートではありませんし。
It kinda is. What's the matter? You look as pale as a frog. What?
次の授業理科なんだけどさ、先生がカエル使うって言って実験室までカエル運べっていうの。
Was that translation solely for a joke? Wow, I really predicted that, didn't I?
ウニ、運ぶの手伝って。
Why, you got a frog in your throat? Ribbit. Ouch! Stop hitting me! It's me! I almost forgot how much Aoba hates frogs. And if they're using them for science class, they're definitely going to be dissecting them today. I hear that a lot of schools are taking dissection out of their curriculum these days, including Misaki-hama as well. Which is why our resident mad scientist, our school biology's teacher, invites Misaki-hama students for a special lecture once a year. Alright, fine. Where are these frogs? Let's get this over with quickly. Sorry about this, Yui. I know we were supposed to be spending our lunch together.
いいえ、うちのクラスのことですし、先輩はどうぞお気になさらず。それより先輩、ここは私に任せていただけませんか?
You want to carry the frogs? Huh? I can do it, really. I've dissected frogs before, so I'm used to it. And most girls are pretty squeamish about this sort of thing, aren't they? No. When I was in high school biology, the only girl in my group was the one actually dissecting the frog. Me and the other guy were just like, ugh! I think a kidney slid under the teacher's desk.
青葉、先週の授業きちんと聞いてまして。聞いてたけど無理。ゆいは見たことないからそんなこと言えるんだ。
I've seen things that would make your heart jump out of your body, like a frog.
見たことない？あれは私が小さい頃。
Childhood trauma involving frogs?
雨上がりの道路。足の踏み場もないほど潰れて、内臓が飛び出したアマガエルたちの下に。
Jeez, it sounds like a Stephen King novel.
このおバカ、おやめなさい。
She must have been imagining it herself.
とにかく、青葉が頼まれたということは、私のクラスのことですし、私がフォローしますわ。
Can she really do this after picturing that gory scene in her head? Her voice is shaking too. Well, if you insist. But let me know if it's too much for you, alright?
ええ、お任せください。それじゃあ、こっちにあいつら置いてきたから。
I'm just imagining a pile of dead frogs. Over where? Don't tell me you just left them lying out in the sun.
別に日に当たってても問題ないっしょ。どのみち解剖されるなら死んでても別にいいし。
Wait, are they not dead? She's pretty cold-hearted when it comes to things she hates. Ugh, there's so many of them crawling around in there.
だよね。超キモい。
Wait a minute, are you telling me that they have to kill the frogs? When you dissect them here, they're already dead and filled with formaldehyde. The smell is terrible.
そうですわね。
I thought for sure they'd be packed up in a styrofoam box, but instead, the mass of frogs had just been crammed into a transparent aquarium. Even someone who loved frogs would probably gag at the sight. The teacher really didn't have to stuff this many of them in here.
もしかして、これ、クラスの人数分詰め込まれているのかしら。一人一匹ってこと？絶対無理！
I don't think there's that many. 1, 2, seems to be about 24, so 1 per 2 students.
よかった。同じ班の子に丸投げできる。
At least do your fair share of the work, alright?
大丈夫。ちゃんと持てる。私ならいける。
Seriously though, they're gonna have to kill the frogs first? I mean, you're not gonna dissect a living frog, that would be very cruel, but why? Man, their teacher's pretty awful for making a girl carry something like this.
それでは、持ち上げますわよ。
It topples over, and frogs go everywhere. It looks pretty heavy. Don't push yourself too hard.
はい。
Called it. Don't lift it up so suddenly. You'll scare the frogs.
無理無理無理！お兄、なんでこんなの見てビビんないの？
It's not that bad when they're still alive. But I don't want to say anything to bring up Aoba's traumatic experience again.
大丈夫ですわ。問題ありませんの。
You don't look okay at all. Great, now the frogs are all riled up. Aoba and Yui seem paralyzed with fear as they watch the frogs hop about inside the plastic tank. It'd be cruel to let this go on any longer, so I guess it's time for me to step in. It's going to the biology lab, right?
私がやりますので、先輩は。
Look, I'm not gonna let you two do this while I stand around and do nothing. And actually, now that I get a good look at them, these little guys aren't much different than the chihuahuas you see at the pet store. What? Alright, except for that one. I've definitely never heard a chihuahua make that noise. Never mind, they're 100% frogs. However, this is the perfect chance to show Yui what her boyfriend is made of. Besides, if these frogs started jumping around again while you were carrying the tank, you might end up dropping it. If that happened, they'd be unleashed upon the entire school like a plague.
それは、わかりました。お願いします。
Thanks. Aoba and Yui keep their distance, walking directly behind me as they cling to each other. Praying that this whole ordeal hasn't traumatized them too much, I make my way to the biology lab. This episode took a really weird turn. Okay, I think that's a good place to stop this episode. All these frogs interrupting our date. That was something. But really though, are the frogs not... Anyway. So things seem to be going pretty well with the relationship so far. The school already knows, so I guess it's going to be difficult for them to find any peace and quiet. Really, it's going to be difficult for them to find any time together at all. If this route is like the others, it'll probably be a few episodes before they actually go on a first date too. It's interesting how long that takes. Maybe it'll be sooner rather than later, because they seem like their pacing is a little bit different than the other two girls that we've seen so far. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. For now, I am one half of the Bridge Boys, signing off.